Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome into another episode of Titans Tube. This is our recap podcast. We're going to recap the game that happened. Titans lose to the Dolphins 27-20 on the road in week 1. First off, before we get started, I want to give some shout outs. Most notably to our newest patron. Thank you, I Make McVids, for the $10 pledge. Bro, coming in huge. He also has his own YouTube channel. Check him out. I Make McVids. He does some gaming channels, some gaming vids and stuff like that. But thank you for the donation.
Yeah, good stuff. Big fan of the show. I see him pop up in Twitter and YouTube all the time. So thank you, yes, for your donation.
Yeah, huge thank you. Also, thank you to everyone else who is a continued patron. We're using that money for good stuff, by the way. If you want to donate, we've invested. Got Justin some new lights for video segments. You can hear our audio. Listen to these crispy mics. Ooh, super crispy.
Yeah, ooh,
so crispy, like crispier than some Chipotle chicken tenders from Chili's. That
wow,
crispy.
That was specific.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, if you want to become, check out the links below. Also, shout out to hang10.com. You can go and use our code TitansTube to get some Titans Apparel and get 10% off your order. Use the code TitansTube. And then last shout out to the Backyard Dog BBQ Sauce, our last sponsor. We'll have more information on him, but he makes the best sauce. Best barbecue sauce.
The best. Yes. Yeah, consider donating to them. They got a GoFundMe page. So GoFundMe.com, the Backyard Dog with hyphens in between the letters. So yeah, please help him out. He's a good
Links.
guy and even better sauce. No offense to his character, but even better sauce.
Yes.
That's just how good it is.
I mean, yeah, okay. I would take the sauce. No, okay, never mind. Yeah, all that information will be in the description. I'm sorry, we're just rambling because I don't want to talk about this game, Justin. What?
Yeah, we're procrastinating it, man. We're procrastinating. You know what we should do? I have an idea. Why don't we just stop recording?
Ooh, I like it.
And we just take all of our equipment and we throw it in the garbage.
Wow.
And then we go play Halo, and then we never make a Titans Tube video again, because that's what I really feel like doing instead of talking about this game.
That seems like it would be a lot of wasted investment. Like, we should not throw away our equipment and just go play Halo. That's probably that would be my tweak to your idea. I would just tweak it that way. But okay.
Yeah, okay.
Enough.
You know what that was? That was an overreaction, and there's going to be a lot of overreactions here in week 1.
Oh.
So I'm getting primed for that.
My gosh, overreactions were abundant in the 7 hours that the game lasted yesterday. 7 hours. Longest game in NFL history. Can I say that? Since the merger of 1970? But it's official. It's the longest. This has to be the worst debut opening game in Titans franchise history. This is our 20th year. I don't remember. In fact, I even saw Matt Neely tweet that he thinks it's the worst regular season game in Titans franchise history. I definitely know it's the worst opening game,
bad.
But
it's bad,
it might be up there.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
It's up there. And, I mean, if you look at the score, it's a 7-point difference. But, yeah, I mean, it was ugly. It was bad. And, I mean, the weather was just a minor factor in all of it, too. It just kind of drug out the awfulness of it.
I mean, everything about it, from an NFL viewing experience to being a Titans fan experience, was absolutely horrible. Yeah. I watched like our top 3 players go down: Mariota, Taylor Lewan, and Delanie Walker, our cornerstones of our offense right there. And then I had to wait. I took up my whole day yesterday, over 7 hours, just waiting for little segments of this game to come on, and then watch Mariota throw a TD, and then right back into interception, and then right back into a rain delay. It was horrible. I had to listen to Jerome Booger
in the first
just make ridiculous calls all the time. It was a horrible experience, Justin. Did you?
I mean, yeah, I
had the same.
Yeah, I texted you this earlier that this was like the quintessential Titan fan experience all rolled into one game. Just as far as, I mean, starting with the commentators and it was just a badly commentated game.
Agreed.
Who was it? Sam Rosen and Chris Carter. And I mean, Sam Rosen, I mean, I looked him up after this game, and he's a veteran play-by-play guy, and he does all kinds of different sports. And dude, Mariota, are you serious? Mariota, that was said at least 3 to 4 times. I think he eventually got it right. But dude, I mean, this is ridiculous at this point. Marcus Mariota is going into his 4th NFL season as a starting quarterback. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, and you still have commentators commentating on these games that still can't pronounce his name right, and it's not even that hard. Super Mariota.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
I also heard Quentin Swain from Chris Carter. Quentin Swain.
Yeah. I heard Swain. I mean, it's just one of those things again that we just have to be accustomed to it. I mean, we're Nashville. We're a small market team. We don't get our games televised a lot to the national media, and so the people around the national media know very little about our team, and I guess can't pronounce our players' names correctly either. They don't know who plays for us, and I heard Chris Carter say many just like inaccurate things about the Titans when talking about us. It's just awful. But that was just the start of it, and just as the game played out, I mean, yes, we have those back-breaking penalties that, or should I say, non-penalties that ended up being penalties, and just how the officials making calls and throwing the flags just go against us, and that's something that we should be used to at this point. But I mean, this was as bad as it got, I guess, since the last time we played Miami. Like, Miami is a cursed place. I don't ever want to play a game in Miami again. And I mean, for the record, I mean, for you Miami fans out there, like, I don't want to sound like a completely butthurt, salty fan. And I believe in giving credit where credit's due. I mean, you guys came to play. I'll admit, I perhaps underestimated your team going into this game, but I felt like you guys outplayed us. You outcoached us. But the refs definitely did not help us in any way whatsoever. And so, it was just awful. And then to top it all off, the biggest takeaway from this game is the end of Delanie Walker's season. And I mean, that... Oh, man, like, when are we going to learn, Caleb, that the Titans, whenever you get excited about them, whenever you think there's hope and we're headed in the right direction, that we're inevitably going to have our hearts ripped out? And that's what it felt like watching our probably best tight end in franchise history go down with I think they called it a broken ankle now. I mean, it's close between him and Wycheck.
I heard dislocated ankle with a fracture, but he's having surgery on it. I'm sure he's going to miss the rest of this season. But
yeah. I mean, that's what I'm expecting. I mean, I'm not expecting him to play. I've already accepted that fate for our team. So it was just so awful and so frustrating. I'm sorry, I'm just like ranting nonstop right now.
That's fine. There was
feel free to.
There was plenty
me.
of ranting going on via social media yesterday in the Titans fandom. But yes, I want to reiterate. Props to the Dolphins. I took you guys lightly.
Yeah.
I didn't think Tannehill would come out and be as sharp as he was, and I also kind of attribute that to how stale our defensive aggressiveness was, especially through 3/4 of the game. But yeah, and then one player that really stuck out to me for Miami, and then we won't talk about Miami again because we're going to move on to the Titans. But Albert Wilson, I will say we did not give Albert Wilson his due credit in the preview game. They really utilized him very well. And when I was rewatching some parts of the game, I mean, they used him in the running. They almost used him like a Tyreek Hill, and I think he was very effective in keeping our defense on their toes.
Because honestly, I mean, he didn't impress me all that much when he was in Kansas City, so I didn't really see him as much of a threat, I guess, but yeah, he made some back-breaking plays against us. And man, can we please tackle Jakeem Grant for the love of the Lord? He's already had 2 years ago he returned a punt against us, and he got our special teams coach fired right after that game. So, and then he just did it to us again this year. Like, this dude kills us. So, I mean, like you said, I don't think we gave him enough credit going into this game. But we're just biased Titans fans.
We're super biased.
But I think they definitely earned the win. I just wish that some of these horrendous calls that were not made and calls that should have been made, if they did go in our favor, like I think they should have, then we probably would have seen a more entertaining and competitive game. I'm not saying we would have won, but, I mean, I think it would have been more entertaining and competitive. But it just didn't happen. The booger didn't see it that way.
Didn't happen. Two more things I got to say before we get into the Titans breakdowns. One, back to playing games in Miami. Why does the NFL schedule Week 1 games in Miami? This is 2 years in a row where scheduling games in Miami Week 1 has backfired. And it's all, they say they're all about player safety, but last year they made the Dolphins and the Buccaneers play 16 games in a row after postponing that Week 1 game due to the hurricane. And then this game, they're making players play over the stretch of over 7 hours. That is not safe for the players. And we saw what happened. Delanie Walker in a sloppy, wet field game 6 hours later loses one of the best tight ends in the league for the season. So,
yeah, we lost Quentin Spain in the game. Taylor Lewan, Wesley Woodyard went down for a while with an injury. Like, we were just falling apart.
And then with all the criticism the NFL refs have gotten the last 5 years, I do not see how Jerome Boger is still ahead officiating. Head officiant. He can't even get his encroachment and false start penalties correct. Motions, he's always stuttering. Like, oh man, this guy is he needs to be replaced, in my opinion. I don't like complaining about the refs, but I actually saw a stat where I think we've lost 7 of the last 8 games he has officiated. His crew has officiated our games. So I don't know, man. There's just really questionable calls, and he doesn't seem to really grasp what's going on, nor portray that when he's relating the events of the penalties that he called to the crowd. It just doesn't come over smoothly.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You know, I used to like him a few years ago because I just thought it was really funny to hear him talk and how he pronounced things like Holden, offense, number 77.
That was good.
But yeah, now that he's completely sorry, that I'll stop doing my bigger impersonations. But yeah, I mean, he just hates this dude. He has it out for us. He does not like the Tennessee Titans. We did something to him in the past, and he's not letting
he must
it go.
have. Okay, anyways, that's enough of pre-talk. You got something else? You want to start breaking down what we saw from the?
No, I mean I was gonna be more general and just saying like it was a 7-hour game. I'm trying to you have to break this game up into segments, like part 1, part 2 after the first delay, then part 3, and then after halftime.
Yeah, it was a really.
So it's hard to remember everything.
It's a really weird game, and it's a really weird game to go back and try and recap. I mean, I'm sure the players were completely out of sync from second quarter on when the delays started happening. It was so weird to try and get in a rhythm for them. I would have hated that as a player, but regardless, the game went on and finished, and we come away with a loss 7 hours later. So it's going to go down in our record books. What? Yeah, I mean, I've taken some notes. You want me to read through some of these notes I've got on the team? Is that a good spot?
Yeah, you can read through the notes because all I'm thinking about in my mind is the Derrick Henry called back run, like very specific plays that went against us. Derrick Henry run, the Taylor Lewan hit that really pissed me off that took him out of the game, and Booger really messed that up.
Keep going.
Because. Can we just I don't know? Can we just address that?
I was about to address it. That's a good point.
Okay, cool. All right, so it starts off with Mariota. Quickly too. I thought Mariota was playing okay. I think he was playing fine until he got knocked into and then got hurt, and then we saw some horrendous throws because both of his interceptions came after that injury, right?
Yeah, they both did.
I think that's what happened. So I think that did have some to do with those throws. But yeah, completely overshot. Tajay Sharp and Rashad Jones makes a good catch going to the ground. But anyway, so he's getting tackled, and then Lewan gets blindsided by Alan Branch. And I mean, the crazy thing is that when the commentators were talking about it and they were trying to figure out what the refs were sorting out on the field, they brought on Dean Blandino, who's like this ref spokesman guy, and they were speculating. They're probably talking about whether or not they're going to eject Branch. I forget his first name. So Andre Branch, they're speculating on whether this is probably either going to be an ejection or allow him to keep playing. And they didn't even call a personal foul against him. That's not what the refs were even discussing. So that just shows you that the NFL still has no idea what their rules are and how to interpret these rules, and calling them on the field whenever your spokes guy on the broadcast is completely out of touch with what the refs are discussing on the field. So it's just a mess. It's a big mess. I thought it was an illegal hit. I mean, I can't believe some people that I'm reading are actually defending that it was a clean play. I don't know if it was dirty, but it was definitely helmet to helmet, I thought. I mean, all you have to see is that Lewan goes limp immediately before he even hits the ground, and he lays there for several seconds. Like, how does that happen if you're not getting hit straight in the head? And it was a crackback block. Those are illegal now, and it was after the play, or it was as the play was ending. So like, and he wasn't really even close. He was like a good 7 yards away from where he was. Rashad Jones was getting tackled. So yeah, completely unnecessary. It should have. They didn't even call it. It was 2 taunting penalties, and then one
two taunting penalties on
team,
us, on the Titans, and then one on them.
Yeah. What are we taunting about? We just threw an interception.
Yeah.
How are we taunting? I don't even know who the players were.
Dion Lewis got a taunting penalty, and then I'm gonna 97. Yeah. Do we even have a 97? Correct.
We were on offense at the time.
I don't know. Well, I mean, that was when the brawl broke out. A few thoughts I had on that play. One, you mentioned Blandino coming in talking about the head officiate or senior whatever he is officiant of the NFL. And Boger, Jerome Boger, he's been there. I mean, he's probably one of the longest tenured head officiants in the NFL right now. I mean, they brought with the retirement of what's his name, Hockley, he's probably one of the longest tenured referees we have out now. How are him and the head president of whatever Blandino is not on the same page about huge issues like that and big calls like that are game-changing moments? So that's my first thing. Why aren't they on the same page? 2, Rashad Jones was clearly touched down by Tajay Sharp immediately upon falling to the ground with the interception. How is that not reviewed and missed?
I forgot about that.
The whole Taylor Lewan situation should have never even happened, but the refs weren't paying attention to Tajay Sharp reaching out and touching him down. Instead, he gets up and runs.
And they didn't review it.
Yeah.
That shouldn't even have been a play that we had to challenge. Those are automatically
turnovers
reviewed,
should be automatically reviewed. They should have seen that he was down. I mean, that gave him even an extra, 15 yards or something on the return. Another thing, farther than that.
I think he ran farther than that.
Back on the crackback block on Lewan. 8 to 10 years ago, that hit would be in the jacked up segment on Monday night primetime. Now, as the NFL's, weeded that out, and it is illegal to crack back block like that. I will say this in defense of Andre Branch. Was it Branch? I don't think it was the dirtiest crackback block I've ever seen in my life. I will say that. Regardless, it is still
I don't think it was dirty
in the NFL
necessarily,
nowadays.
But
I think
illegal,
over the course of it is a dirty play because you're essentially just taking a cheap shot on a guy who's not even focused on you. I mean, it's a dirty play. So that whole thing was pretty much that sequence of events sums up the game yesterday. In my opinion, injuries, bad
it
calls.
kind of sums up being a Titans fan and things just going against you.
Exactly. Okay, we spent a lot of time on that. Sorry that we're coming across as whiny sore losers, but that summed it up.
But I guess we shouldn't spend too much time on it. But that's just one play. But that one play just kind of encapsulated everything and how the game went. I can't believe we had 2 of the taunting penalties and they had 1. But because I thought that they had 2 and we had 1. Because I was going to say, whenever there's like multiple personal foul penalties, well, why doesn't like one on each side cancel each other out and then you enforce the second one on the same team? That's just like a general wondering that I have. That doesn't seem to make
actually
sense,
when Boger was announcing that and he's like, we have 2 penalties on the Titans and then 1 on the Dolphins. I'm like, oh my gosh, so they're going to offset and then we're going to get penalized for that. But I guess all the penalties just offset if there's 2 on anything. But I still don't see how our team got 2 unsportsmanlike conduct from that and the Dolphins only got 1. And Branch did not get a single penalty for an obviously illegal crackback
he got
block.
Off scot-free. And did you see him on the sideline too? That pissed me off even more. That like they were high-fiving. Yeah. He said, I saw a tweet like that. Like, God, dude, get over yourself. You just like concussed one of our players. This is like a serious issue.
He took a cheap shot on the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history.
Yeah, it wasn't like they went head to head. Like it was a blindside block.
Very
like anybody
dirty.
could have done that. Like not a lot to brag about there.
But regardless of the bad calls and the events that transpired, I thought the Titans played pretty bad over the course of the game as a whole. I'm just going to go through some. Sorry for talking about that issue for so long, guys, but thanks for listening. I want to hear your comments on that too. What do you guys think about that? Boger as a referee and that whole situation with the interception and Lewan getting hit on the crackback block. So let us know in your comments below. Okay, let's get into some of the. Can we get into some of my notes and you can comment on these? Is that cool? Okay. So I'm going to start with the offense here. Here's some because I actually watched the whole condensed game today, so I took some notes. Yo. So
nice.
Studious.
Very studious.
Okay, I thought from the onslaught we had that good opening drive in the offense. I loved it. I liked the pace and the tone of the opening drive. We couldn't get in the end zone. Got to find a way to get in the end zone. But overall, I thought outside of some bright moments from Dion Lewis, I thought the run game looked extremely poor and just energyless. Mainly Derrick Henry. I know he had that one huge run call back, which could have changed my opinion on the run game for the whole game. But overall, I thought our offensive line and defensive line, for that matter, just lost the battle in the trenches. We could not establish a line of scrimmage when it came to the run game. And I think eventually that affected our play. We started the game with a bunch of little short passes, some dinks and dunks, getting Corey Davis involved, which I'm all for that. But eventually you gotta build off of that into the game, which we never did. And I thought that was because we couldn't really hold the line of scrimmage well.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, and like I was saying earlier at the beginning, I thought Mariota made some good throws. Man, he should have had a touchdown to Taywan Taylor in the end zone. It hit off his hands. It would have been a good catch, but it did hit him in the hands. And he got his arm slapped a little bit by the defender, but I mean, it was kind of bang bang. I wouldn't have been. I'm not too mad they didn't call pass interference on that.
Oh no,
because it was close. But yeah, and dude, like, why? How does when I'm looking at the box score, I see 0 receptions for Rashard Matthews and Taywan Taylor. Like, these two guys are expected to contribute big time in this offense, and we could not get them involved at all, which worried me.
I thought that pass to Taywan Taylor was Mariota's best pass of the day, and I don't really blame Taylor for not catching that, because that would have been an incredible catch. I think he should have had it. We just need guys that are going to make plays like that. You know, I'm looking at the plays made through the highlights.
Yeah, and I've seen Taywan Taylor make that play before, so that's why I'm like, I should have caught that.
No, I agree. And you said Taywan Taylor and Rashard Matthews both came away with 0 catches. A more glaring stat is Rashard Matthews came away with 0 targets. How do we not target Rashard Matthews? I mean, we just signed him to an extension. That's our leading receiver the past 2 years. How is he not going to get 1 target in the game yesterday?
He did miss a huge amount of training camp, but still, you would think that we'd throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Like a couple times at least. But yeah, he did miss. So he did miss out on a lot of practices leading up to, and he didn't play at all in the preseason.
Yeah, true. Maybe that was it. Maybe they wanted to.
So I mean, so he could be behind in the scheme, and but still, if he's going to be out there. I mean, he played.
Yeah, we can't be holding with how shallow our depth at receiver is. We can't just afford to baby Rashard Matthews into the offense. In the opening games of the season, every game matters here. We're about to go into AFC South. Rivals here, Houston and Jacksonville. So what if Rashard Matthews missed the preseason? Yeah. We need him out on the field producing now. And I wish we had gotten some targets yesterday against another AFC opponent, the Dolphins. This game could come back to bite us if we're, struggling to fight for a playoff spot end of the year. The Dolphins could be there, and this could be a game that decides a tiebreaker. But so I think it's kind of ridiculous that he did not have any targets.
I mean, they are going to have to get involved, and they're going to have to step up and fill in the gap of production that Delanie Walker's not going to give us anymore. So, I mean, we have no choice but to get him involved.
Now, another thing, I mentioned this, but I really liked how early and often we were getting Corey Davis involved. I know it was a bunch of short passes and screen passes, but I think LaFleur had the right idea with Davis and with Mariota. I think Mariota needs that to start games, kind of get him in the rhythm. Unfortunately, we were not able to build off of that. And I think, like I said, with the delays and everything that happened, it just kind of sputtered out after the first quarter. On to my thoughts about Mariota. I did think that pass to Taywan Taylor was his best throw. Other than that, I actually thought he was pretty inaccurate on a lot of crucial throws through the game. Yeah, so the one that set us up
even
into
early
the red
on
zone to Stalker on the second play.
Yeah,
complete underthrow.
He underthrew that
coming
one.
in to his 4th year in the league. I need to see that play in the end zone, in the touchdown. If he had led him just a little bit,
Yeah.
instead of Soccer having to stop and almost wait on the ball to where the defenders could catch up. I mean, that should have been 7 points. We would have been up 10-0 at that point, and had all the momentum.
Yeah. That would have been huge. Yeah, you gotta put it out there further, Mariota. That is disappointing, and like you said, in his 4th year, frustrating to see him still not just like be on point with those passes when they're wide open right there. I mean, I love Matt LaFleur, man. That was a beautifully designed play, and nobody saw that coming. Like Luke Stalker going deep. Like, yeah, I'm not surprised that was wide open. Like that would have anybody fooled. So yeah, beautiful play design, but shoot, and it cost us because then we turned the ball over on downs.
And we turned the ball over on downs because I thought Mariota once again underthrew Davis on that 4th and 2 out, threw it behind him.
Yeah.
Davis had to spin around, so he didn't even have a chance at
yeah.
trying to dive to the end zone. But that's something where you look at the stats at the end of the game and you're like, oh. Through the course of his career, and you're like, oh, Mariota, wasn't so bad, put up some decent stats, has some good numbers. But when you watch the game, you see things like, oh, yeah, he completed a 31-yard pass to Luke Stalker, but that should have been a 30.
Yeah.
That should have been a 37-yard PD pass,
but,
and that's where we need him to get to if we really want to take the next step as a great team. And then I thought the screenplays, especially late in the game, the one he got intercepted on, and there was a few others, just became too predictable, which I attribute some of that to just our whole offense being out of rhythm, and we didn't really know how to get back into a rhythm. And then, both his interceptions were bad plays on that, just bad throws, bad reads.
Yeah. And I mean, and that was such a backbreaker, the second interception, because that was after the second delay. And I guess the idea was to come out and do something tricky and fancy, fake the handoff, fake the reverse to set up a screen. But I think it looked like we just kind of
it was not sold at all either.
Ready. We weren't in that mindset.
It was a terrible acting job.
Yeah, they were all over
by
Mariota.
Everyone across the board, in my opinion. Even Dion Lewis. I feel like Dion Lewis was just like showing Kiko Alonso, hey, man, it's a screenplay. Not even going to try to hide it. Maybe he thought he would be asleep after 2 hours of rain delay.
Like even if it wasn't thrown over Lewis's head and he had caught it, like Alonso was right there. He would have tackled him for a big loss anyway, which I would have taken at this point, knowing that he intercepted it now. But I mean, in hindsight, I guess we should have just like ran some more simple plays to get the players back into the game, into the flow of it, without trying anything fancy or drastic with that play call. But yeah, I mean, regardless, Mariota can't whiff on that pass. Just take a sack or something. Like we've
or
this
throw
is
it into the ground.
Become a normal
just throw
thing
it
now.
at his
like
feet.
we've seen
if
Mariota,
you see Kiko Alonso behind him, which he should have, you just got to throw it into his feet.
But yeah, this is now like it was consistent, and we see why it's consistent again because he's did it week 1, and these back-breaking turnovers that just kill us at like the worst time. Like otherwise he may have some good throws here and there. He may put up some points, but there's always a risk with Mariota, it feels like, to just cause a terrible, terrible turnover right when we don't need it. And he threw 2 of them.
People talked a lot
Sunday,
about last year about how his interception to touchdown ratio numbers were so bad, but 8 to 10 of those interceptions he threw last year can be like deemed based on like his player tipped it up in the air or something like that, and people were making excuses, just being like, well, that really skewed numbers just because of this reason. Well, whatever's happening, it's continuing. I mean, he's already started this season 0-2, 2 interceptions to no touchdown passes. So I don't know, maybe the dude just is kind of cursed, or Miami's cursed, that's for sure. But I'm going to need to see some more out of Mariota. My last thing about him is, after that second interception on the screenplay we were just talking about, they pulled him and blamed it on the injury. And I initially thought that Vrabel had benched him after a second interception, which I would have thought was wrong. But then people were like, no, they pulled him because of his injury. And I'm like, you just sat back in the locker room for like 2.5 to 3 hours, over the last 4 hours. And, I heard a quote from Mariota saying that he went out because he just couldn't feel his fingers on his hands. Wouldn't you have enough time to assess that injury and then put Gabbard in before that interception? I don't understand that.
Yeah, that's crazy because he went in and threw that second interception, and that was literally
and
the
that
last time he was
that
on the
interception
field,
was
right?
the first play
Last
after
time he
the
threw a
second
pass?
rain delay. So they had all that time to assess if he wasn't able to feel his fingers. Why did they even put him back on the field?
Yeah, and then to call a play call where it requires him to do all of this stuff, to fake handoffs and dump down the screen pass, that something's fishy on that. I mean, maybe it is partly he was injured, but partly like Vrabel was like, okay, you're rattled, your injury's bothering you, obviously, even if you feel like you can play, but this team needs a spark.
I mean, maybe it was the right idea because honestly, one of my positive notes, which there's not many from the offense, was the one touchdown drive with Gabbert looked like the most energy our offense and team had basically all day, minus outside of the opening drive. So I applaud that. Another positive I had, I think Dion Lewis, man, he was definitely the MVP yesterday for the Titans. I know we lost, but every game, man, every play he played, it looked like he was playing with so much heart, so much intensity on his run plays, on his screens.
Yeah, dude, he breaks so many tackles. I don't even know how he does it.
Yeah,
he just gets lost in a pile of defenders, and he'll come bounce it out somehow.
A 3-yard dump pass and turns it into like a 15-yard game. Like, I think he's going to be invaluable to this team, and I wish that somehow he could light a spark under Derrick Henry to run with the same kind of intensity and tenacity that this little guy does. Dion Lewis, 5'8". If Derrick Henry could channel whatever Dion Lewis has going, I think Henry would be unstoppable. But right now, Lewis looked like the clearly better back, in my opinion. Like,
he looked like the better. I thought he was the better back yesterday, and he very well might be the best back on this team. He may. I mean, we might start Henry in games, but I mean, I would not be surprised for Lewis to outtouch him, catching and rushing. Like, he had over 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, easily
wish I
the most productive
drafted
player
him
on
instead of
offense
Derrick Henry on my fantasy team. Yeah, but I saw the stat where – keep going.
But I feel sorry, go ahead. Oh, crap. Okay, then I'll go. I feel bad for Derrick Henry, too, because, that's kind of his style to keep grinding, and then towards the end of the game, he's just going to pop one loose. And that's what he did, and dang it, lo and behold, there's a freaking flag. It was a face mask on Delanie Walker. And when you do that, apparently that's also called holding against you. Like, did you see any – you said you rewatched it. Did you see any kind of possible hint of a hold by Walker there? I mean, there's definitely a face mask on him.
Even in that kind of screenshot, you can see that Walker's – I believe it's his left hand is up around the neck/face area of the defender, but the defender has Delanie Walker clearly by the face mask. So, if anything, I think it should have been offsetting fouls. You can't really get it – by that point, even the production crew had cut back everything to like one camera angle, so there's not a really definitive view on what Delanie Walker got called for. You just see the tail end of it where he's clearly getting face masks, and then he gets the holding call. But yeah, that was a huge moment. And then also Darius Jennings, got to shout out Darius Jennings. That was a big play right there. I do not want to discredit that. So,
man, see, I gotta be honest. When that play, and we should, I think Darius Jennings. I mean, come on, man. Maybe he. We should just give him the
Dion
MVP
Lewis.
Ball, really, because, I mean, this is a guy that stuck around on the
I'm giving my
practice
game ball
squad.
to Dion Lewis.
Fine, you give yours to him. I'll give mine to Darius Jennings. I just need to give Jennings his due props, because when that play was happening, like, I was already spent.
Yeah.
I think I was already gone mentally from the game, because I think Walker
hadn't gotten injured yet.
And, like, even when he scored the touchdown, Ooh, are you sure? Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I feel I was just like over the game at that point, and while he was returning it back, I was like, "Oh, that's cool, great." But I just still didn't feel like we were going to put ourselves in position to possibly win it. But looking back on it now, like, man, that was pretty special, and I'm definitely happy for Darius Jennings. I mean, did we even expect him to be our kick returner? I thought it was either going to be Batson, number 17,
I believe Batson
or Adoree Jackson.
was inactive yesterday, but I think he's scheduled to be active for week 2. But, yeah, I mean, now that we got Darius Jennings back there, and Adoree had a nice punt return too, but he did get banged up on, which is the danger of putting him back there, but I like it.
Yeah, he definitely Yeah, he was put on. That was an exciting, 25 yard.
If it wasn't for our freaking Brendan Trowett getting in his way, man, get the heck out of Adoree Jackson's way. All right, let's move on quickly to some defensive notes before we have to go. Are you cool with that? Or you got anything left to say about the offensive performance?
Yeah, sorry everybody. I'm on a very big time crunch. That's why we can only do the audio, can't do the video portion of this. But no, we can talk about
I'll read
the
out some
defense
notes and then
that
I took down, and then you can comment on those. One, I thought the biggest thing for me, takeaway from the defense, especially a negative takeaway, was once again, I already mentioned it, got owned at the line of scrimmage, which led to our run defense being absolutely horrid. Frank Gore was gashing us. Kenyon Drake was gashing us. We gave up a 20-yard run on a 1st and 20 to Frank Gore. That dude is 35 years old. They just get a holding call after that. This was after the Malcolm Butler got his 15-yard penalty when they were on their 98-yard march.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was that? That's another penalty. That's
they blow
like WTF, man. He's tackling.
Yeah, I mean it was an aggressive tackle. But they blew the whistle when Malcolm Butler was already tackling him to the ground. How's he supposed to stop his tackling motion then? I don't get it. But anyways, after that was when they got the holding call. Still backed them up 1st and 20, and we give up a first down run on that play to Frank Gore, a 35-year-old Frank Gore, and that's the drive. They ended up marching 98 yards down to take the lead, and then they never lost it after that. So I thought that was the main point. I thought we got the trenches, man. It was lost in the trenches, especially on defense. We're gashed time and time again. They were averaging over 7 yards rush all day. I thought in terms of our secondary play, I thought Adoree looked a little sloppy and lazy in some of his coverage technique, especially on the touchdown play. He got missed tackles. Which I had not seen from him in the preseason. I thought he had always been solid, but he looked like a step slow, and that might be attributed to having to play the game over the course of 7 hours, just not being physically prepared for that. I thought we had bad tackling time and time again, and then absolutely no pass rush. We only recorded 1 sack, and it was late in the game. We need to get our guys, Harold Landry, Rashaan Evans, Derek Morgan, we need to get those guys healthy because our front seven is looking suspect without them on the field, or at least they did yesterday. Those were my negatives, really. I thought most of their play stemmed from the lack of being able to stop the run. Even on the 75-yard bomb late in the game to Kenny Stills, I still thought Malcolm Butler was in incredible position. I just thought that was a better throw and catch. Yep. Yeah,
it was the perfect throw. That's so frustrating to be in great position on defense, and it's just a perfect throw.
But
perfect throw and catch, perfectly in stride. If it looked like Butler even got a hand
I don't
on the
see
ball
how
too,
he wasn't able to swat it away. He was in perfect position, dove. His hand was should have just swatted the ball down, and it didn't play out that like that. But I give Butler actually my defensive game ball because I thought. Once again, our 2 Patriot guys on either side of the ball, I thought Butler played a pretty good game all day yesterday. He had that huge interception on the goal line. And even when he wasn't making the correct plays, I still, out of the rest of the defense, I still thought he played with the most intensity out there, just from what I was seeing.
Man, if only he didn't slip on that interception, it could have gone all the way back, which could have proved to be huge for us. But that's okay.
And honestly,
he intercepted the ball.
My
that's all
big
that matters.
complaint with the defense is it looked like we didn't really have much of a scheme for them going in. It didn't look like we were trying to necessarily take away anything from Miami's defense and try to limit them or try to make them one-dimensional or take away a strength or blitz them a lot or something. It didn't look like we had a game plan for the defense. It looked like they kind of every time they were just all right, you guys go out on the field and try to stop them. And they would just march right down. If it wasn't for a few, bad plays by Miami's Dolphins, I just didn't see a whole lot out of the D as a whole. It was disappointing because I had high hopes for them going into it. Tannehill hasn't played a game in 20 games, and through the first half, he almost had a perfect passer rating.
It looked like he didn't miss a beat at all. That is insane, and I think a lot of it. Yes. I think that it's the pass rush for me. I think that was the most disappointing thing. But I guess I didn't really know what to expect with Morgan coming in fresh off of surgery, and Arakpo was banged up in training camp, and we don't have Landry, we don't have Rashaan Evans. That definitely hurt us. Because, there were definitely some plays where Tannehill just sat back there for like 5 seconds before he made a decision.
I guess I can give them a pass on that just due to all the injuries. But, man, I don't know if I can give them a pass anymore after this game. We're going to have to get something going in terms of pass rush. Hopefully that'll be Landry back.
Yeah.
Getting Harold and Morgan back and everyone healthy. But we're going to have to play better.
Because, I didn't – Morgan played, right? And that's sad that I have to ask that question because I just didn't see him show up or make any plays.
I think he didn't even start until the second half. I don't know what the situation was. I guess still kind of dinged up. But are you okay?
Okay. Yeah, I decided to go ahead and start driving. But I can kind of keep talking here. I was going to say something about the defense. About our run defense. I think I completely agree. When it was bad, it was bad. But I think we corrected a good bit by the end of the game because that was really only a few drives, maybe 2 drives where they were really gashing us with runs, just one after the other. Because at the end of the game, I think they only averaged 4.
Oh, really?
4 yards a rush, which. It's respectable. It's respectable, but it's not.
Well, still,
it's not
by that point,
you through the whole game.
The damage had been done.
Yeah,
in my
honestly,
opinion.
as far as yeah, true. But again, I guess just as a whole, and taking something away from this game, and the biggest thing is moving forward without Delanie Walker. Because if there's any week in the NFL season that can make or break your season, week 1 is at the very bottom of the list. It's the first game of the year. The season is still completely up for grabs, fresh and new for everyone. We still don't know exactly which teams are going to be great and which ones are going to suck and fall off. So, if we can just fill the gap of Delanie Walker, which is a big task, and kind of figure out this offense as a whole, we can still win some games this year. It's not over. Let's not... I think I'm just trying to make myself feel better. Trying to make myself not overreact and just tell myself everything's okay. Season's not lost. But that game yesterday was pretty discouraging.
It was as discouraging as
an opening game. You got to move forward to Houston, man.
As any team in the NFL could have ever had, in my opinion. Very discouraging. But no, this is what we do at Titans Tube. We spin it so we can be optimistic about the next game and how we're still going to win the Super Bowl this year, even without Delanie. Do it for Delanie, guys.
It was bad, man. But hey, you know what? Deshaun Watson did not look like Superman against the Patriots. So I think we got a shot. Let's do whatever the Patriots did to cause them to have a bad game.
Wow, I think you just spoke at least 3 whole sentences, and I did not hear a single one due to some kind of disconnect. But you're talking about the Patriots. I guess shutting down.
Yeah, I'm talking about Deshaun Watson not having a great game against the Patriots, and so now we get him at home, so maybe we can cause him to continue to play poorly and not put up 57 points against us.
There's really no time to linger, let this game linger on ourselves, because we got to go straight into playing Houston and then Jacksonville, 2 key AFC South Division games that I would like to at least come away with those, being 1-1 out of those 2 games. I don't think we can drop both of them. We cannot start the season 0-3 hosting the defending Super Bowl champions the next week. Man. Yeah, there's no way. And the NFL is just like a week-to-week season. What if we go in and win these 2 AFC South games back-to-back? Then, the whole outlook changes again for the better. Let's just stick with it. If people want to jump ship, that's fine. But let's see how everything plays out. Don't jump ship, guys. If you're listening to this and you're freaking out because you think the Titans suck, don't jump ship. We had a really, really horrible debut yesterday. Yeah, it's not what Vrabel and his new staff needed, nor the fan base, but we can pull it back together. To quote Mike Mularkey, he always spoke of resiliency, how the team needed to be resilient, and I think that core is still there of this Titans team. I think we have some good cornerstone leaders in place. Yeah, Delanie's down, but I don't expect Delanie to just check out the rest of the year. I think he's kind of the heart and soul and one of the leaders of this team. I think he's going to be right there teaching Jonnu Smith, the techniques, being a leader in the huddles and on the sidelines. Yeah. So I'm expecting that. I think we can I still have high hopes for this team going into the year. Yeah, we dropped a game. Oh, well. It's going to happen. We're going to lose a few more. But I have faith in this team, this Titans team. Optimism.
Yeah,
Yo,
optimism, bro. I like the optimism. Let's let's just put it behind us, everyone. It's in the past. Wipe those tears.
Thank you. I wish you could wipe my tears away in person. Now that we're apart, I have to just let them fall to the ground and splatter on the cold. I can't. Okay, any last thoughts on the game you got?
Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah.
No. Remember, we're putting it behind us. I don't want to say a single more thing about that stupid Miami game. Congrats, Miami, though. You're 1-0 on the season. Yeah. Take down the Patriots.
Once again, all the best to Miami. I mean, being able to play through all the circumstances that happened yesterday with the rain delays and all of that, you came out the victor. So, minus Andre Branch, dude. Get him off the team. The guy is a douchebag.
Yeah, I don't like that guy anymore.
Not Andre
Your
Branch.
team is fine, but not that player.
Anyways,
he has soured in my mind.
Our first recap podcast. Let us know what your thoughts and overreactions or underreactions are from this game in the comments. Also, let us know what you think about this format of the recap podcast. Do you really need to see our faces on the screen at all moments, or are you cool with just listening to our crispy voices speak sweet words about the Tennessee Titans? Because in all honesty, it's a lot easier to put out these long recap videos just using audio. So if you're cool with that, we might continue with that. But if the majority of people still want to see our faces day in and day out, we will try and work to accommodate that. But I don't think Amy even wants to see my face day in and day out. I doubt Titans Tube fans would.
Nah.
That's it, man. That's all I got. You take us away. Okay.
All right, man. Well done. I think you kind of just did. I mean, like and subscribe, and if you tell us what you think about the game and this podcast. Thank you, sirs and ladies, and we'll do it again next week. Look forward to the Houston preview video. Peace.